Well, imagine being stuck on the other side of the world and told one of your kids can't fly home with you. That's what happened to Tanya Allen on a family holiday to Paris, all because of a Qantas ticketing error. She's now home in Brisbane, and I spoke to Tanya late this afternoon. Tanya, now that you and the kids are home safely, how are you feeling about the whole ordeal?
Oh, we're just absolutely devastated. We've been Qantas customers for decades and we've flown all around the world with them. So to be treated like this is just so disappointing. It's thoroughly un-Australian of them.
You saved for 4 years for this family holiday to Paris. I know you had a great time, but when you arrived at the airport to fly home, what happened?
So I was travelling with myself and my 2 children, and we checked in at the airport and was told that there was a ticket for me and my daughter, but not for my 10-year-old son. I spent hours and hours on the phone with Qantas, and each time I tried to call them, they'd just hang up on me. In the end, I was told that there was not another economy seat available for 2 weeks, so we would have to come back to the airport in 2 weeks.
So, hang on, how does this happen? Because I know you had the receipt for these tickets. You'd bought them 6 months prior. You get there and you can get on the plane. Your 12-year-old daughter can get on the plane, but there's no ticket for your son.
They couldn't offer me any reason for doing that, and they offered me no alternative. I just had to leave the airport. The kids were very upset. This was their first flight.
How are the kids now?
They're very happy to be home, but they're really in no hurry to go through that again.
You said that you called Qantas at the time. You'd been told there wasn't another flight for 2 weeks, but you ended up getting on a flight 2 days later. How did that come about?
It wasn't really until we kicked up a stink and really pushed back that they were able to find a code-share seat for us on a different carrier.
So that initial flight where they said there was no ticket for your son, there were no spare seats on that flight at all?
Apparently there were no spare seats on that flight. In the next flight there were business class seats available, but they wouldn't give those to us.
So you're saying that there was another flight later that day that you and your family could have jumped on and got you home safely, but because they were business class seats and you'd purchased economy, even though none of this was your fault, you weren't allowed on that flight?
Qantas actually retain those seats so that people can bid for an upgrade. So for them, it's really just about making profits, not about putting their passengers first. And that's just not fair.
Look, Tanya, I've got 2 small kids, and if I'm honest, I've probably thought about leaving it at the airport once or twice, but to go through something like this, to actually go through it, what a stressful time for you and your kids.
It's not what we signed up for, and it's just not acceptable, and really it shouldn't happen to anyone again. So the law really needs to be changed, and Qantas needs to get their act together.
Since going public, they've now apologised and will reimburse you. Are you happy with that?
We only heard from Qantas once the news story had broken. I'd spent 3 weeks trying to get in touch with them to organise a reimbursement. I'm happy to have my expenses reimbursed, but I really don't want this to happen to anyone ever again.
Will you fly Qantas again?
I think we might give it a miss next time. It's just not worth the hassle.
Look, thank you so much for joining us, Tanya, and I'm glad you're all home safely. I'm just sorry the holiday ended the way it did.
Thank you.
Such an ordeal. And Qantas sent us a statement which is on our website if you'd like to read it.